Okay, black on black my thoughts.
Hi guys, Black is here. Okay, a long time YouTube fan. I've seen his name before, but it's been a while since I've seen it. He left a comment. Well, he sent me an email, and he asked me not to call out his name. I guess he's embarrassed. He asked me not to be angry. He apologized to me, asked me not to be angry with him for questioning me. Okay. I'm not angry with you, dude. Seriously, I'm not angry with you. You're not the first person to ask me this. It does not bother me, okay? Honestly, it does not. Now, this guy asked me, why don't I ever agree with other YouTubers? He asked me, why do I criticize other YouTubers, other automotive YouTubers? You know, he was like, he wants to know, you know, why do I have so much more knowledge than other YouTubers when I'm just a dumbass truck driver? No, he didn't say dumbass truck driver, but he did mention truck driver. Okay, now, let me explain to y'all. It's real simple. I am smarter than the average automotive person. No, I'm not saying I know more than the Car Wizard or any other YouTuber. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I am smarter than the average automotive YouTuber. What I mean by that is I don't just believe whatever somebody tells me. I just don't believe. A lot of automotive YouTubers, a lot of automotive technicians believe whatever someone tells them, especially if it sounds good. They believe it, and they will run with this for the rest of their life. Just like you hear some people say, the majority of engine wear occurs at startup. That means the majority of your engine wears out when you start the engine up. That's bull crap, man. It don't even make sense. Think about this for a second. The majority means the most. The most of your engine wear occurs at startup, okay? Think about that. That don't make sense. But a lot of YouTubers will repeat that. A lot of them will repeat that because they believe it, because they don't know any better. But me, I think about that for a second, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Boy, if that's the case, a semi-truck engine would never wear out because they usually are idling. They're usually running on the road. So that means then some people say, well, they do last 1 million miles. Not all of them. Not all of them. And a lot of them that gets to 1 million miles are using quite a bit of oil. Okay? When I worked at NEMA, the highest mileage I ever took a truck up to, I had a Freightliner. When I got it, it was a 2004 Freightliner. It had a Detroit 14 liter inline six. When I got that truck, it had like 300 and some thousand miles. When I got rid of it, it had like 730 some thousand miles. Okay. That engine, when I got it at 300,000, it had a lot of blowback, and it was using quite a bit of oil at 300,000. At 700,000, it was still using pretty much the same amount of oil, which was quite a bit of oil. But what I'm getting at is this. And what he asked me was this. He mainly talked about horsepower. He's like, you don't agree with cold air intake. You don't agree with headers. You don't agree with all that throttle body spacer and larger throttle body. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Now, 1970. Say if you went out and bought a 1970 Camaro, I'm just saying, okay? Don't come talking to me about what a 1970 Camaro had. I don't care. I'm just giving you an example. In 1970, if you went out and bought a Camaro with a 350 and it had a 2-barrel carburetor, right? And say it made 210 horsepower, right? Say that same year there was an optional Camaro that had a 4-barrel carburetor and made, say, 300 horsepower, right? Back then, people thought that they could buy a 200 horsepower Camaro, change the intake, put a 4-barrel carburetor, and they thought they was going to get 300 horsepower. That's what people thought back then. It was wrong. That 300 horsepower 350 had a hotter cam, okay? Simple that. Now, let's come up to, it's 2024, right? People think now because they have computers controlling the engine, people, wait a minute, today's Wednesday. Ooh, I gotta take my trash out. Okay, now let's say in 2024, just say if Chevrolet made a Camaro, which they do. Well, actually, I don't know, do they still make them? Anyway, say if they made a Camaro and it had a 6.2 V8 and it had 455 horsepower, okay? Say they had an optional engine that made 500 horsepower from that same 6.2. Say it was advertised with having an aftermarket or cold air intake, and say it had a special exhaust system. Well, some people would think, well, you know, I'm gonna go out and buy the base engine, the 455 horsepower, and I'm gonna put this cold air intake and get the high performance exhaust, and I make 500 horsepower. No, you won't. Two different cams. Two different cams. And here's evidence. Now, people will say it's not the same. Yes, it is. You look up the difference between a North Star that makes 275 horsepower and a North Star that makes 300 horsepower, and that's only 25 horsepower difference. Everybody will tell you it's the different intake cam. Oh, it's the different intake cam, and it's better on the computer's program different. Why wouldn't it be that way with the Camaro? It's making more horsepower. Why wouldn't it be that way with the Camaro? But again, people don't think that way. People, they believe whatever they read. Let's go back a little bit. I had this conversation with another fan of mine. We was talking about, I don't remember the exact year. I don't remember. Sorry, I don't. Cadillac, they came out with a 4.5 V8 and it made like 100, I think it was 155 horsepower. And then they had another one where they put multi-port fuel injection and it made 180 horsepower. Well, a lot of people believe it made 180 horsepower because of the multi-port fuel injection. I remember reading that, but I knew even back then it was bullcrap. It made that more horsepower because they put in a different cam. Yes, they did install multi-port fuel injection. Yes, they did, but that's not where the power came from. The power came from the hotter cam. Now, some people say, well, Black, it had an injector for every engine. It does not matter. It's just like, again, in the old days, you had some cars that came with a single 4-barrel carburetor. You had some cars that came with 2 4-barrel carburetors. Just because you have 2 4-barrel carburetors don't necessarily mean you're going to make more horsepower. If you have a weaker cam, you're going to make less horsepower. It does not matter. It's all for looks. You know, some Ferraris came with V12 that had 6 carburetors. Hell, I think Lamborghini came with a V12 that had 6 carburetors. Some of the older ones did. And you got some American cars that came with V8 with 1 4-barrel carburetor. You could have put that same Lamborghini, the same Ferrari that came with the 6 carburetors, you could have taken that off, changed the intake and put a 4-barrel carburetor on there. If it's tuned correctly, and what I mean by tuned correctly, it has the same air-fuel ratio as the cars with the 6 carburetors, it's going to make the same horsepower. It may sound a little different, but it's going to make the same horsepower. But again, people don't know any better. They believe whatever they see. They think that you need 6 carburetors on a Lamborghini to make power. They think that you need, I think did the Hemi come with 2 4-barrel carburetors or a single 4-barrel carburetor? I think 2 4-barrel carburetors. A lot of people think that's the reason why it made so much power. It was all show. It's all show. Look at the 454. The SS Chevelle came with a 454 and a single 4-barrel carburetor. And I think it was the most advertised horsepower of any car, I think, 450 horsepower. Whereas the damn Challenger, whatever, only had 425. Yes, I know people said it made 500 horsepower, but it was advertised at 425. So going by the advertising, it made less horsepower than the 454. And it had what? 2 4-barrel carburetors. But anyway, that's the thing. That's the reason why I don't believe everything I hear. I'm smarter than that.